Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to OTC Fish Keeper. And man, am I excited today. I finally got my hands on something I've been after for months. I know, of course, you guys all realize by now that I get my fish tanks really cheap, OTC on the cheap. And what I haven't spoken about or talked about up to this point is a lot of these tanks, because they're so cheap, they come missing a piece here, a piece there. When you get a bunch of them, of course, you can use pieces from different tanks, sometimes to make tanks together, make two partial tanks into a whole tank, or 3 or 4 into 3 whole tanks. But what they're almost always missing is part or all of the hoods. And in this case here, like for example in this 55-gallon Oscar tank, you see here that I'm missing, actually you probably can't see it, let's see here. You can see here that I'm missing part of my hood. I've got some of the glass here, but the whole front is open. In this case I got the front piece but not the back piece, but I keep this under here to protect the light fixture from the water evaporating up. And in the case of this tank I got for $200, I'm missing the whole top. The whole thing's missing right here. And that was also the case of my 120 here. But now, if you look at my 120, I've got a lid. Now, if you go to buy these lids brand new, get actual replacement lids, they cost a fortune. I think it's like $85 or something for one. And that would not be on the cheap. So what I've done is I've gone out and I found these plastic panels. These things are really strong. They look really nice. And you can cut them to whatever size you want. These are actually made, I believe, for greenhouses, and they come in 2 foot by 8 foot long sheets. And you just measure them and cut them up the way you want them. And now I've got mine. I've known of their existence for a while. I saw that on another YouTube video somebody had, and I got a bunch of them, got them all measured out, and I'm ready to start putting them in some of my tanks. And now I've already got it over here in the 120. I've already installed them, and actually these are a little bit snug. I prefer to measure them a little too big versus a little too small. And this plastic does not stay on there. I've taped them together. The plastic does not stay on there. You can peel that off, but because I'm going to get a little bit more cut to it, because you can see it's a little bit tight here. Doesn't quite fit. I can make it fit, I can get it in there, but it doesn't quite fit. But then I just use tape for a hinge, and I can just open that up, feed my fish, piece of cake. I've heard that that Gorilla Tape has got a clear tape that is waterproof. So I'm going to give that a try. I'm going to find that and give that a try. Show you another tank I got, a couple more tanks I got with this stuff on it. Okay, and here I've got a 55-gallon tank that I picked up for $50. It came with a lid, but the lid was actually for two lids for 2 15-gallon tanks instead of the 55. So that was very helpful, still a fantastic deal. So I just got my plastic here, and I've cut it down the middle, and right now I've just got regular tape on it, so I'm going to replace that with waterproof. But just got it cut in there nicely, and it looks fantastic. It lets light through. It's perfect. Get it at Home Depot. But not all Home Depots. Unlucky for me, my closest Home Depot doesn't actually carry it. But I went trolling around St. Louis, and I found some Home Depots that actually have this stuff in stock. So that was just fantastic. And here's the 125 live bearer tank with all the corridor cats in the bottom. They're looking really cool. Look at them go. They just school. They school like there's no tomorrow now. They all run together. They run away from me and towards me. Really awesome. But now I've got a lid on the tank. I got a really good measurement on this one. This one fits real good. And then I'll just tape it to the glass. I had 2 pieces of glass and 2 missing pieces of glass. So now I'll just turn that into one lid. Leave a little space in the back. Take care of the filter and everything. Real happy with the results. It's exactly what I was hoping for. Okay, here's one of my 10-gallon tanks. And in this tank I made a mistake when I cut it. This was the very first one I cut. I meant to cut it long ways instead of short ways. You see the grains going short ways. But you know, even long ways, it is nice and sturdy. Nothing's going through there. I get a light for this tank at some point, and then I can just put it right across the top of it, no problem. Have a light. It's already, you can see, I don't know if you can see with the camera, the moisture from the bubbler building up there. Now all that's not escaping, and you can see that, you know, get a lot of crust on the edge from the minerals in the water as it evaporates, and it just makes a mess. But it also makes evaporation just crazy, and it gets a ton of calcium on the glass here, which, you know, at some point here I'm going to have to completely empty this tank out, get some stuff to get that calcium out of there, and then just start over basically with this tank. But loving the plastic lids. Now when you go to cut this stuff, you got to be real careful of your measurements. As I've mentioned earlier already, I cut mine a little too big by accident, but the actual fact is I didn't cut them. I just happen to have a brother who has not only the talent but the tools to get these cuts just right. Now before I show you him cutting these up, I just want to make sure you know, follow all the safety instructions on any cutting tools you have. And he said that the reason he doesn't have a guide on one is for visibility, so that you can see what he's doing, I guess. But that in mind, this is not a tutorial on how to cut things, but this is just me getting some of these things cut up, and how the process kind of looks. So enjoy. So anyway, now that you know where to get it, how to get it, the plastic I bought 3 sheets of 2 foot by 8 foot. Said it carefully that time, that's correct. 2 foot by 8 foot, got them cut up. I made lids for about 7 or 8 tanks. I actually lost count. I'm going to have to put it all together and finish the fine tuning. Some of them, like I said, are just a little too big. Like this one right here is pretty close, but I'm still going to shave it down just a hair. Just so it doesn't get too much pressure on it and start to bow it all. But I got it for all that, all the 7 or 8 tanks for I think $112. And had I bought new ones, I have no idea what it cost, but I priced at least one tank, and one tank for new glass was I think $87. I don't know if there was shipping on top of that or not, but $87 is a big difference for one tank versus, you know, $112 for 8 tanks, 7 or 8 tanks. So, you know, if you try this out, let me know. Tell me in the comments what you think. You get your cheap tanks. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention. The tank that I showed you in the last video, the 2 tanks I got with a fish for $50, and also a stand for another 55-gallon on top of it. So I got a 50-gallon with the hood and a stand and a filter. I got a 29-gallon with a hood, stand, and a filter. And I got a stand for a 55-gallon tank, all for 50 bucks. But I forgot to tell you that I picked that up actually on Facebook sales room. I don't even know where it came from. It just suggested that I go to the Facebook sales thing, so I saw that 50-gallon tank in there and scooped it right up. It was a great deal. I can't wait to set it up. Getting close to doing something with the fish room here, get the rest of the tank set up. It's going to be fun. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can come along with us and see what we do in here. We're going to have between 10 and 20 tanks, and I think I'm even going to build a little pond for my goldfish so that I can put my Oscars in the 265 upstairs. See you guys next time. Have a good day.